Hello, welcome to my podcast, Open Conversations. My name is Young Bella Sabetwo. Uh, People who may know me they know me as Bella. Young, either or. Young Bella, of course, works well 'cause that's my first name. But all those names, works well for me. Um, or if you come up with a nickname you like that I like, that'd be cool. I'm from uh, Maryland, DMV area. I grew up in DMV, uh, specifically Prince George's County area. Um, Went to high school at DeMatha, went to undergrad at Michigan State University. Great time of my life. Um, Great times. All times are great times, but definitely Michigan State was a great experience and time while I was there. Um, and so, purpose of this show is pretty much I'm going to be speaking about different topics of interest of mine that I think is uh, important and relevant to the current times or maybe even past times, future times, um, whatever I think, uh, stuff that needs to be talked about, certain topics that may not get covered as much that, you know, need light spread over, I definitely will be speaking on. Obviously, I'm open. Obviously, the show's called Open Conversation. So I'm obviously open to other, the public's, you know, thoughts or conversations that they may find uh, interesting to talk about. If they would like for me, if y'all would like for me to talk about, I'll talk about. If y'all want to come on the show and speak and give y'all point of view, that will work too. I'm uh, definitely open to that. Just make sure it's just a matter of it being something that I think would be helpful towards and informative to the people. And yeah, so yeah, it's general sum up of the show, the purpose of the show. Like I said, um, graduated from Michigan State University in 2016, so it's been 6 years post undergrad, and so um, I've have had my own personal experience uh, in what most would consider to be the real world or the corporate world, um, and it's been a definitely a learning experience for sure. Had a lot of adjustments um, in that transitioning from the college life, getting into adulthood life. And, I know that one of the main reasons why I want to speak on it is because I know that it's something that I know a lot of people, especially my age or younger, even older, have experienced that transition from, even whether if it's high school, you go from high school straight into the real world, or, a lot of people go from, like I said, undergrad to the real world, the corporate, your career, corporate world, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely a lot of adjustments you have to make in your own personal life. For myself, one of the things I noticed definitely with you know when you work in the corporate world, you're spending, generally speaking, maybe 8 to 12 hours in one place. That's not how life was. Most kids, like in college, you usually spend uh, an hour in one class from here, maybe 45, maybe three, and stuff like that. Or college, you might have a side job, but you usually don't even, a lot of times, even spend that much time like as you do in post undergrad. A lot of your time is spent at your job where you work at, um, and so it's kind of like your life. A lot of ways is gonna, it revolves around your job versus in college it was just geared towards your classes and stuff like that. And so you know it definitely makes a adjustment into how you use your time, how you manage your time. It really, that's what, for myself, uh, I had to learn to do, uh, because in college this institution was programming a lot of what I would do, where I was at, this place, and in a major sense, when you graduate and you get work your job and stuff, your job pretty much does that for you in a lot of ways. But you have to be able to manage uh, how you use your time. You gotta take that responsibility, of yourself and how you use your time, and how you manage your time. Whether it's at work, sleeping, uh, eating, what I'm saying, eating, time to eat, get groceries, etc., etc. Maybe if you have kids, take your kids out or pick your kids up from somewhere, like, or wherever they're at schooling. You're gonna have to manage this. What I'm saying, manage all of that. What I'm saying. And for me, I kind of like, in some sense, take my responsibilities and duties that I have in my life, whether it's me going to the gym, working out, getting groceries, uh, going, hanging, like, I kind of view it as a class, like whether it's perfecting what my different crafts, businesses, whatever. Like, I view it as like a class. So I make that correlation. Um, so yeah, definitely, how, in the post undergrad life, how you interact with, the main people you interact with generally, again, is going to be the people you work with on a day-to-day basis at your job. So those, in some senses, kind of replaces your friends, people maybe in college that you were used to be around on a day-to-day basis for, whatever reason, it was to hang out or do whatever. Now it's, your coworkers and stuff like that. Those are people that you spend most of your time with. And so definitely have to, and again, a lot of times, again, a major difference is, a lot of the times you're not going to be co-workers with people your age. Maybe people who might be 20, 30 years older than you, who are your co-workers. Or it could be potentially somebody younger than you, depending on how old you are, you know. Um, so you have to be able to work with people of all ages. You know, before that, uh, you're generally working with people your age, around your age, either the same age or maybe a year to 4 years younger, a year to 4 years older than you. That's generally speaking the age in the school system of people that you're usually around and associate with. Now, when you get in, the corporate real world, now you have to communicate with people who maybe 50 years old, 50, 60 in the 60s, 70s. You know, if you're 40, you're communicating with somebody who's in their early 20s. You know, this is just the reality. So learning how to, you know, interact with people of all ages is very crucial, very important. Um, mhm. uh, Trying to think of any more just differences that come to mind between, you know, some of the post grad and post undergrad and just undergrad life. Um, Those are some of the main things that come to mind when I think of the some of the differences and lifestyle changing. Um, but yeah. So to the next topic, uh, social events and environments. You know, I like to personally go to music festivals. Um, I go to the club, not very often, but at times. I enjoy the vibe, the music, the just, you know, people, you know, the energy at times. It's cool. Like I said, I don't like to go too often because, you know, just not really my cup of tea at my age right now. You know, um, definitely like to, you know, uh, the bars, the lounges, uh, speaking with, you know, with people there. In terms of interactivity, in terms of and amongst people in recent times, and you know, obviously we're just in the time of pretty much that kind of like post-COVID era in some sense. So it still affects of that and how people, I know it's, you know, people interact. Um, but I would say, from what I've noticed, in terms of how people interact, uh, especially, particularly, let's say, the club. Like from what I've observed a lot of times, uh, you know, a lot of girls, you know, when they come to the club, and again, it's not to say that anybody's wrong, just observations. Uh, but you know, most of the time, from what I see, a lot of the, you know, the women who come, generally, you know, they come with their, you know, their friend groups, in their female friend groups, and you know, they kind of just party by themselves. You know, they're kind of enjoying the function by themselves, and then the guys is in another side of the party or the room, and they're just kind of they're on the other side, and there's not much mixing. You like I've definitely noticed that. You know, a lot of, you know, men and women really don't mix and intermingle, or particularly dance with each other as much as I know from past times when, you know, I was younger and I used to, you know, go to clubs and parties more. We used to dance more together, but that's not really what's kind of like it seems to be in. Most people go, they say girls a lot of times are dancing with their girls, and you know, might be on their phone, on, you know, on the camera, Instagram, or you know, whatever. And dudes and fellas, you know, are by the, you know, with they maybe the other bros, and just looking around, and ain't much going on. And if there is some kind of like conversation going on, what I see, amongst people, it's real, just it's surface level conversation, which is cool. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I think most people will consider surface level conversations small talk, but you know what I'm saying? It don't, a lot of times, even if you do exchange contact with a girl, a lot, from my experience with talking to guys, and even from my personal experience to some degree, it don't really, in most cases, it don't really go anywhere, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of cases is mainly due to the fact that, again, women, one, may not even be coming there to meet a dude. Two, they a lot of times already have a lot of guys that are already trying to, talk to them and, kick it with or whatever. So it's kind of, and so it's a lot, maybe a lot of times they might not even remember you when you contact them. And again, it's nothing, you know, personal. I mean, for me, I don't take it like as a personal attack or anything like that. I just see if what it is, and again, it could be other reasons, but I know those that happens a lot, and so it just kind of gets to a point like, well, why am I even, what I'm saying, what's the point of even exchanging contact and even having a conversation? You know what I'm saying? So that's just one thing I noticed within the club. You know what I'm saying? But I said I go to the club from time to time, and I enjoy mainly, drinks and just, I like to see what's playing in terms of music, what people are reacting to in terms of the music, the music scene, stuff like that. So I have my, I guess those would be my main reasons for real, why I even at times step into the club. Um, yeah, so uh, yeah, and when I go out, just generally speaking from what I see, again, just from what I see in my observations, uh, it'd be mainly um, girls not really hanging. Like, I just noticed in some sense a divide, in some sense. Like, I think, again, in years before, and it's not to say I don't see it as, at times. I definitely do see uh, guys and dudes come out when they go out to, the club or out to eat or something. Like, I definitely do still see people coming out together, like with, guys and girls. But it's, like I said, it's mostly prevalent with like dudes just hanging out with dudes, or, you know, a lot of just solo, dudes going on there, on their own, and, girls just going out with the girls. And, you know, I would want to know why. Like, I definitely see that happening a lot, prevalently. You know what I'm saying? I do wonder, like, what's the reason for that? You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't know if anybody want to come up, obviously speak their piece and point of view, if that's maybe something they've noticed too, and, offer their reasons as to why that's kind of the case. Hey, I'll be all ears, but I definitely see that, girls don't, like the intermingling, even like I said, even outside of the club, just going out, you know what I'm saying? It's not much. I know, I remember when I was in college, like it was more intermingling. Uh, like, you even had the pregame, where people would come to a spot and meet up together, guys and girls, you know, women and men. You know what I'm saying? Female, male. We come to a certain spot. We get have some drinks, maybe there's some food, and then go out to the club or bar, whatever, and then maybe come back to where we met up at the pregame, and be kick it there until maybe, I don't know, people decide to go home or whatever. Um, so you know, that's something that I remember that being kind of like commonplace in previous times, but it's not so commonplace, in my opinion, from what I've seen now, so to speak. Um, you know, uh, and then again, I spoke on just like the post effects of the COVID. I think a lot of that, obviously with the social distancing, like I said, people just even individually, people are spaced out. Like you just see, a guy, out walking on, and again, nothing wrong. Maybe people just want to be, they got it going on their own, got their business to take care of. Like myself, I usually take care of a lot of my things and stuff on my own, so I get it. Um, Females too. Like it's, but I don't know if the social distancing is a reason maybe why people are still kind of like don't want to be as close with people or interact with people, because we did go through a whole time period, almost pretty much 2 years, where we couldn't even speak to anybody publicly, and dang near even see them. Pretty much couldn't really even see their true identity, what I'm saying, their face. So I think that, obviously, the COVID effects, might have some subconscious effects. And I think my personal thing, I think it does have some effects to how people just interact and behave when they go out in social areas to some degree. Definitely would like to hear if, what I'm saying, if y'all feel the same way or see the same thing or otherwise. Because I'm always, I definitely like to, if people have a different point of view, I definitely be ears and eyes to listen and see what you got to say, hear what you got to say. Um, so yeah. Uh, Next topic: social media. Obviously, you got the different platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Uh, Definitely great platforms to connect, communicate, get your message, get your content, get, what I'm saying, what you have to offer out to the world. These are all great platforms to use that we use. I think in terms of, from what I see, in terms of, pop culture, I think social media gets a lot of flack though. These platforms that we use every day, what I'm saying, gets a lot of flack and blame in terms of, well, this is, if social media messed up relationships, social media messed up this, it's clout because of social media. All, social media just gets the blame for everything. But it's like, well, it's the people on the app who are doing these things. It's not the actual platform that's causing these problems that we keep claiming that's the problem, in the world today. Is it's the people who are actually using the platform. So it's not the algorithm that's blocking everybody and this, that, and the third. Like, it's the actual users. You know what I'm saying? But you know, uh, you know, in terms of how, in my opinion, the modern day times, you know, I think most people spend most of their time on the social platforms. I think, again, like I said, I'm a user, of course, and I don't, I can acknowledge the fact I'm a user of, the different social media platforms. Uh, but I don't, like for me, I try to maintain that balance. I don't try to, I maintain that sense of reality. I put the phone down. It's important. You got to maintain that sense of reality. Even though both, you know, reality, the real world is connected to these social media platforms, because everything that's on these social media platforms that's being shown first started in quote unquote real world, whether it's tape or recorded or whatever, photograph, it started and came from the real world, then put on the social media platform. And obviously, there's certain things on the social media platform that you can edit and enhance and things like that to make it even better from the original. Um, but it's all still connected. But uh, I feel like, you know, from what I see, you know, most people, I think, from what I see, and again, people are entitled to how they want to use social media. They want to use social media to just show they freaking tum- thumb. That's their right. They want to use social media to videotape them taking a shower. I don't, if that's their right. For me, you can use it however way you choose to use it. But from what I see, most people are, from what I see, using it to just be seen by people, which is cool. You want to be seen and appreciated and liked and stuff like that. But when it's like that goes overboard, a little like obsessive or excessive, it can be like, dang, like, gotta, is there any like sense of, you know, like chill in some sense, but you know, just try, being seen, and I think that's cool, but then it kind of can get to too much of a vain place where it's like I'm just trying to be seen, and you might get too caught up in comparing your life and seeing what other people have got going on, and you're not too focused on what you got going on in your own actual life. You know what I'm saying? You get so far off and distracted into wanting to be seen and then seeing what everybody else is doing, that you're not even paying attention to your actual life, that you know what I'm saying, like, oh, I really gotta, you know what I'm saying, I really gotta pay attention more to my own yard. Um so that's one thing I've noticed, you know what I'm saying. But again, there is, again, I said, social media, it's how you use it. You have an audience, people, I like to say myself, and who try to use uh, the app to uh, promote what they got going on, their businesses, and or what different crafts and things that they do. They showcasing it to the world, um, and connecting and communicating with people. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you have that people who are on the platform who are using it in that way, um you know connecting and communicating, you know what I'm saying, for a purpose, like somebody, you know on social media who could be a good website developer, you know what I'm saying, through them posting their content. Let's say you have your own business, you want to start up, you're looking for a website developer, and they can, of course, uh, help you out maybe. So, or if you need, uh, event plan, you know, you can reach out, communicate with them, uh, get help with maybe you have an event going on, or just, personal interest, somebody you have a liking towards, on a, intimate person level. Obviously, you can connect with them, speak to them. You can reach out, you connect with them, and again, you have that, you know, some people got, a little more pride than others. And, some people may be a little scared, or, timid to maybe reach out to somebody, guy or girl, that they might have a liking to it, you know, because, a lot of people don't, when it comes to rejection and, maybe the possibility of being rejected. A lot of people don't want to experience that. So they might just hold off on it. But, for me, it's like, why not? If that's how you truly feel, why not? Why not reach out? You know what I'm saying? We only have one life, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, stop waiting, make things happen. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, that's that type of person. I'm a, you know, big on making, trying to make things happen, you know, make things happen for your life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be people that you uh come across and that you meet that are gonna help change your life, for the better. So, yeah. Next topic: the value of social status. Um, from my point of view, um, a lot of people always, talking about status, 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 and how I'm at this status, and I'm at this level, X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's cool, and you know, social status does have its value in that, in my personal opinion, point of view. Um, based on, because social status is really based on how people view you socially, um, but or not even how you're viewed socially. Just you know, a lot of times, your title, what I'm saying, that you may hold, and how, um, I think, when it comes to your social status, it can definitely get you into certain rooms. You know what I'm saying? It can get you in certain rooms. It can get you, you know, a look that, based on your status, that you wouldn't might get if you were in this lower status or this high status. Um, but I think for me, uh, what your social status doesn't define who you are ultimately. It can have a reflection to some degree of who you are, but it's not gonna define who you are in full. Um, but it does represent you to some degree. And I think that's where people get, you know, they're big on their perception and how they're perceived, you know. But like I said, it doesn't define who you are because you know you're social. Socially, you could be a police officer, and so socially, it's like you have almost a higher uh, level of importance um, in the community, and then another person. You're regarded in a certain way that if you didn't have this officer status, that you wouldn't get. Maybe there's a higher level of protection or just like respect, uh, et cetera, et cetera. If you didn't have that quote unquote status of being a police officer, you know. Um, but and again, there's pros and cons to that status because and you have some people who quote unquote are against cops and stuff like that for whatever you know person reasons but uh that's how socially people can be like, oh, he's a police officer. But again, it goes back to what I said, it doesn't define you because as people, we are more, we're more than that, or just that title, or how we're more than how we're just viewed by society, whether, you're a police officer or the, even the president or, a rapper or an actor or, like you're more than, people are uh, fathers. You can be a officer as well as a father, a brother, or a friend, a business partner, associate. So these are all different things that um, can, uh, apply to who you are. You know what I'm saying? Not just how you're viewed socially. You know what I'm saying? Those things matter too. You know what I'm saying? Um, if being a good of your father, being a good father to your kids, or you know these things ain't gonna be highlighted by society per se, but these are these are things that definitely matter. You know what I'm saying? And they have in some sense, especially being a father, you know what I'm saying? It has more of a higher significance and role. So I think who you are, the things, the values and things that you stand for, and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Those things really, truly reflect who you are. And so, just status by the masses and social media. You know, because again, with the current times, social media in a lot of ways your following count, who you're following, your likes, the views, etc., the comments. These are a lot of things that people are using as a basis to base a person's value to society. You know what I'm saying? Um, and they do, like, again, they do have their relevance. These numbers and things like that. They do. Sometimes some people just completely buy out their followers. You know what I'm saying? But even if it's organic reach, it does have its relevance and things like that. But again, that's not your total. That's not your whole life. You have to at some point put your phone down. We all do at some point. You know what I'm saying, and live your actual life. So, these things like some like social status and how you're viewed on social media. They have not as much as a significance as we, in times, I think a lot of times we make it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen situations where it's like people will simply not want to do business with you or interact with you simply due to how much followers you have on a social media platform. But in all reality, in true reality, you're an upstanding person, you're a good character person, you're somebody who could add value to their life. But because they may see like, oh, he doesn't have this amount of followers, or he doesn't have this amount of likes, he doesn't have this amount of views, it's like, we're gonna toss it to the side. And we see this person who got a bunch of likes, bunch of views, a bunch of following, all of that, but is not the best character kind of person, whatever. It's like, all right, we'll champion that person. We'll spread more, you know, light and attention to that person because if this person got all these views and likes, and then they must be doing something good. And I think that's kind of like how most people kind of see, the social stats and stuff like that. But again, numbers can be misleading. Um, so yeah, so yeah, that's all. Going to into the outro of the show. So um, again, man, I appreciate uh, anybody who's out there and who's listening and watching. Definitely gonna be putting out more content. Thankful and I'm happy I was able to put this, get this first uh, episode and show out. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm looking forward and I'm open to the commentary, uh, positive and negative feedback. That's all subjective, but all true and honest feedback. Uh, I'm definitely I will definitely consider and real give a real thought, you know, some thought into it. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like it's genuine and it's coming from a place of, trying to improve what I got going on, because this is for me going to be a journey for me, a process of just continuing to uh, improve in what I'm trying to do, or not even what I'm trying to do, what I am doing. So I'm thankful for anybody who watched, and yeah, looking forward to more videos and yeah. So.